Hello, this is today's video analysis for April 16, 2019. Today we're taking a look at the USDCAD, the US dollar, versus the Canadian dollar for today's trade analysis. I'm starting all the way out here on the weekly time frame, get us a longer term perspective of this currency pair. You can see the rising channel going all the way back into 2017, at the very bottom of the rising black trend line. We can see starting down here at the 1.21 level in 2017, a little bit of a rise, a fall, a rise, a fall, a rise, a fall, a rise, fall, and somewhat now we're in the rising phase if this pattern were to continue, and that's been the way it's been since 2017. You see the two parallel blue trend lines on the right hand side showing us the somewhat rising phase we're in right now. The question is, of course, will it continue to rise? Will it do what it's been doing for the past couple of years and go all the way back to the top of the rising trend pattern, maybe even back towards the 137, 138 level or higher? Or will we turn back lower once again and challenge the bottom of the long-term trend? We don't know, but it is an interesting perspective for this currency pair. Let's go ahead and take it on down to the daily. And you get a little bit different viewpoint. Of course, there's the two blue trend lines that we saw on the weekly time frame showing the rising trend pattern. Interesting, in the past couple of weeks we've been sitting on top of that rising blue trend line pattern. We also see a couple other things here. I have the 200 period and 100 period simple moving average here. I think probably most notably the 100 period moving average, the green line. The market has been finding support around that area. Let's go ahead and zoom it in a little bit here on the daily time frame. Gives us a better view of that. Look at this orange shaded area, 1.3005, 1.3025. That's the orange shaded area here. Been finding a lot of support around there, around the blue trend line, around the 100 period simple moving average. Rising over the past day or so back into the blue zone, 1.3365, 1.3385, holding our resistance right now. So we have a decision to make today about the dollar CAD. Number one, are we going to watch for the breakout? Will it eventually break above the blue shaded area, which it hasn't done in a couple of weeks, and go higher to the green zone? We know the green zone is our next resistance just by looking back here. The last two pushes above the blue zone headed right towards the green zone, 134.30, 134.55. Of course, a break above that would go higher. Or are we looking for a bounce and reversal for this to turn around and go back down, as it has in the past couple of weeks? Found resistance here at 133.85 and turn back lower. A couple of things we'll watch, and we'll talk about more in the live trade room later today. A couple things to watch is the dollar. What's the dollar doing? The US dollar, is it rising or falling? That will give us a perspective of direction here. Rising dollar would see this go higher, falling dollar see this go lower. So we'll take a look at the dollar later on today. We also often associate crude oil to this currency pair. Crude oil rising and falling may have an impact here. What's it been doing? Has it been rising or falling? And that will help us to determine direction. If crude oil falls heavily, if it goes down, I would suspect we're breaking 33.85, the blue zone, and going higher. If crude oil rises, that's good news for Canada actually, and we would look for this to head back lower towards the orange zone. So we'll keep an eye on those two main factors: US dollar, crude oil. Sure, we'll keep an eye on Canadian news as well. I don't think we have as much Canadian news as we do watch for the U.S. news and the perspective of crude oil, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that as well. But we're obviously challenging this blue shaded area. Take it down to the 4-hour time frame. And as we can see, we've been here twice before, even in this period. You can see we were here, we challenged resistance, fell back down to the orange zone. Here, challenged resistance, fell back down. So again, we're watching for these two outcomes. This is really it. There's one of these two things that's going to happen. Either we finally get, the market gets above this blue shaded area and it continues the rising trend in the direction of the long-term trend pattern that we studied on the weekly time frame. Either it gets above, or we get some sudden infusion of sell orders, a sudden reversal, and this currency pair turns around and goes back down. Waiting for the setup is probably our safest option. I would say right now, the way it looks a little heavy on the day, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's wait to see if it actually does have that infusion of sellers. If it does, then maybe we have a better opportunity to go short on the underneath side of the blue zone, targeting back down to the orange zone. Clearly a push above here, a rally on the dollar, a fall of crude oil. We'll likely look for it to head back to 34.30 for the dollar CAD today.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.